Hi, I'm Perrin Woods, and welcome to A Walk in the Woods, a show that we like to release on some sort of schedule where we teach each other and hopefully our listeners topics that each of us bring in. Joining me today is Leo, Elliot,
Hi,
and Nalin.
Hello there.
So, Elliot, you want to start us off today?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so as of recently, I have heard about this special mineral called Trinitite, and I work in the mineral shop, and a very popular stone in there is Moldavite, and we also have Libyan desert glass. What's interesting about these is they're not formed like a normal mineral.
Can you explain to me how a normal mineral is formed? I'm not 100% clear on it.
When a normal crystal will form, it will, the atoms or the molecules will arrange themselves in a certain way. In a crystalline structure.
So these are formed different, chemically?
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Or well, the way that they're formed is by certain things that will only happen once. And they're only found in certain places.
So there's a limited supply of these, basically.
Yes. So the one that I'm very fascinated in is Trinitite.
Right.
It was created in New Mexico when the first ever nuclear test was done. The first ever nuclear bomb test.
Is it nuclear? Is it radioactive itself?
Yeah, it's quite radioactive. So it holds material from the actual bomb. What would happen is, what happened was the bomb was set off. It created a very large dust cloud, and it superheated this massive area.
Right.
So...
and it was in the desert, so...
Yeah.
Right.
So as the dust settled, the dust was both the sand and the material from the bomb, powderized material. Okay. And it formed into a glass, into puddles.
Oh, like it with the same thing? Oh, that's cool.
And it became a green glass.
Yo.
Basically. And it's very sought after, and I was really, really interested in that because it's a really interesting way that a mineral can form.
It's a very drastic measure to take to make some glass.
So
I need some really nice looking windows. Ooh, this green glass looks good. I don't have a bomb lying around.
So do you happen to have a bomb?
What's funny about the glass though is it's not like a regular clear glass. It's very fractured up. Because the way that it formed
was pretty violent in some.
Yeah. So as you take normal glass and you cool it, if you don't cool it at a very low speed, like if it cools really quickly, it will fracture. That's why all glass studios will have a kiln.
Oh, I see.
And they can just bring down the...
So they cool it in the hot place.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's what Trinitite is,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well,
and
can you melt it back down to make it not look fractured?
I actually don't know.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I gotta get those Trinitite windows, man.
Yeah. I wonder how much it would cost to make windows out of this.
Have your entire phone like an all glass phone only made out of
It's
Trinitite.
what's your phone case? It's just Trinitite from New Mexico from a nuclear bomb.
It's just a bomb glass.
Hold this bomb glass. It's pretty bomb, dude.
So,
Is it harder? I'm assuming it's harder than normal glass?
No.
Okay.
Because of the way that it was formed with the slow cooling, it's quite fragile.
Oh yeah,
okay.
About its formation.
Yeah.
So you were saying it was formed with the first nuclear strike? Test, not strike. Sorry. How come there hasn't been more formed, or has there?
I was gonna talk about this.
Okay.
Wow, great.
Continue on.
Jumping the gun there, Perrin.
Yeah. So there has been similar material found in other places where nuclear bombs have been set off. But the thing is the elemental makeup of the sand in New Mexico, and it was this the nuclear bomb was set off on the ground instead of an airstrike.
Right.
Right? That
Yeah, I mean, they
'Cause it was-
generally burst like what, a couple hundred feet off the ground. This is what they were designed to do.
I'm not sure, but it's something like that.
Because I thought the impact was about that's because for the shockwave.
That is the shockwave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I think that has to do with it
Mhm.
a little bit. But there has been similar stuff found in other nuclear test sites, but nothing that completely matches what happened in New Mexico.
So
So-
is there like different glasses at other test sites?
I didn't research that.
Well, this is
collect your bomb collection now.
Yeah. This is so cool. I think it's like at this point, like we've accidentally created something, and a lot of things that we discover, like we accidentally find
Right.
after doing something else. And I feel like from this, we can go on to learn more about like minerals and stuff, because like we've found out how humans can actually make them, and and you have to have a bomb. But one question that I have, like very theoretical, is like, how would you define these? Because I know there's like igneous, sedimentary, and like
Right.
metamorphic, different kinds of rocks that form in different ways. So like, Elliot, this is a question for you, because
Yeah.
you know all about this. Is that the same thing with minerals? Are there like igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic like minerals? Like,
So rocks are a composition of minerals,
Mhm.
and so the rocks are classified as igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic.
Right.
So minerals aren't actually classified as that. You get a mineral; they're classified as a mineral.
Are they classified by their actual?
They're classified by their
not
their growth
Yeah.
patterns and
Oh, yeah.
their crystalline
Yeah.
structure.
So what sort of
yeah.
growth
Yeah.
patterns is this classified?
yeah,
by?
like
It's a glass.
But
So
does
it's
that mean that it's like more like igneous because it's like made by like heat, but also like a lot of heat and a lot of like pressure? And stuff?
well, it would technically be considered glass. It's
it's like a different.
yeah, it doesn't have is it amorphous? That's like a
Oh.
non-crystalline structure.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're learning about in chemistry.
Yeah.
So
So it doesn't have a crystalline structure.
which means it
It's-
has like different melting points is what I learned.
depending
in-
depending on the thing.
Right.
So the next one, which is like my favorite, I love this mineral so much. It's called Moldavite.
I know what you're
so-
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, Nalin's visited me in the shop and he's seen it. This was a mineral formed by a meteor. So
Ooh.
as a meteor was entering the
Whoa.
atmosphere, it
Whoa.
broke off. There are pieces that broke off of it, and when it crashed and all the pieces came down, it created another glassy substance called Moldavite. And what's really cool is the patterns that you see in Moldavite very much look like they could have been caused by water. They look like waves, but it was actually the impact of the meteorite sending like a shockwave and
Oh.
creating these things.
Yeah.
And then it's super
It's-
cool.
So
It's
it was
really
waves, just not the
cool.
water type.
Yes.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah. So a lot of scientists were thinking that it was caused by water,
Right.
but it wasn't. It was caused by the impact.
oh, and later scientists figured that out.
So does it only come from this event?
Yes.
So
Whoa,
we can't do
so
it with other meteors.
It must be like really sought after, right? It
Yes.
must be
It's
really
it's a
rare.
highly sought after
Yeah.
thing, and a lot of people believe it has many different metaphysical effects,
Huh.
and it's like a very sought after one for like meditation and like healing. And it's it's a really amazing stone.
That's wild.
And it's only found in it's been found in a couple places around
Right.
the meteor impact.
And it was found in that one place very far away for some weird reason. It always
So-
seems to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So where was it?
Epicenter.
The epicenter of the.
So I know that it was found in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
Is that the only
It's-
place?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was found. It's found in. I thought I wrote it down. I know that it's found in Germany. I know
Okay.
that it's found in
Okay.
Germany, and there were like 10 pieces found there, and then most of it were other places.
Okay.
So like Central and Eastern Europe kind of
Yeah.
centered.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's something I want to go.
Yeah.
Get some
my
of
God.
my-
Yeah.
That'd be so
Yeah.
I can
cool.
understand that.
So is there still some of it left?
Yeah, it's still being mined. Yeah.
Wow, that's so crazy because it has like it lasts so
Right.
long, but also it's like it's not gonna last forever, right? I'm sure.
Yeah,
just,
it's
like,
definitely gonna be completely mined out at some
So,
point.
So-
you have to kind of put it in like museums or kind of try to
Yeah.
keep it.
But like
there.
as more asteroids come, more will be created. Do I have
No.
that right?
probably
No?
different types, right?
Different types, possibly.
Collect them all.
It's like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Gotta
catch
collect them all.
but instead of Pokemon,
Please
you're
don't sue
chucking
us.
asteroids.
Oh yeah. I
Um.
want this to be a show.
Yes.
So, that's like a really interesting thing because it's
Yeah.
only found in that area. And it's a gorgeous, like foresty green, glassy substance, and it's really cool because of the way that it was formed. It's only going to be certain sizes. You're not
Huh.
going to be able to exceed a certain size. If you were to wait 1 trillion years from now, and like let's say you found like a very small sapphire in the ground, and you waited 1 trillion years from now
Mhm.
and went back that would have grown
Right.
a lot. Moldavite's not going to grow because it's a glass. It's
Right.
going to be, there are only going to be certain sizes of it.
Right. So
You know.
good. My windows aren't going to grow big on me.
Yeah. So
No, shaking his head.
the
So disappointed in you, Perrin.
I need my fancy glass windows, okay?
Parents gonna live in like an all glass house.
Here's one.
Emerald City.
Here's one I believe you can make windows out of. It's called Libyan desert glass.
Ooh.
So this is,
Oh.
in my opinion, the most unique out of all of them.
Ooh,
Out of
okay.
these three, and I'll talk about two
Those
other
two
things.
are already pretty unique.
You're gonna get more unique, parents.
Yeah.
You better be ready.
we
Ready.
know how Moldavite and Trinitite were formed.
Right.
Yeah.
Libyan desert glass is a complete mystery.
Oh.
There's nothing that we can find on it. It's from the theories, from what we believe,
Right.
it was formed by an above ground explosion,
Mm-hmm.
but way, way long ago. I don't have an exact date of
Hmm.
like when it's been dated back
Right.
to.
But like millions of years?
Thousands?
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands?
Wow.
I don't know. But like it was some supernatural, not supernatural, sorry. like
the aliens.
I mean, could it have been formed by just there are huge extinction level asteroids?
Right.
It could have been.
Could it have been one of those? Because there were a couple.
Yeah. But the problem is with those,
A
we're
varying
not
size.
seeing the shock waves
Okay.
that we see with
Mm.
with Moldavite. We're not seeing like craters that we would see with an asteroid.
So here's my question. So, we can look. Can't scientists just look at the rocks formed by those formed by like the meteorites, and then therefore from there, see if this one is closer to that or if it's closer to an explosion type?
I don't actually know.
Because I wonder if there's like if scientists can actually look at the rock.
Right. And,
And-
like classify its formation.
Right. That would be
Yeah.
Do we know the atomic structure of the element? Or
Yes.
Do we know the crystalline structure too?
No, it's a amorphous.
Oh, it's amorphous.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's really interesting is the Libyan desert glass, along with the Moldavite. They're
Mhm.
very clear. You can get very clear pieces.
Oh, what color is Libyan desert glass?
It is yellow.
Ooh.
It is like a goldenish yellow.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would classify that as like almost sulfury in its color, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Um,
what elements are in it? And can you find like a Lewis dot structure of it or something?
We don't need to get
Oh,
too-
maybe I should draw it. Maybe, yeah. Oh, is it ionic?
Is it only?
Oh, what are the
Well-
IMFs? LDF or hydrogen bonds?
See. I mean, if it was, I mean, it also depends on like what kind of reaction happened to form it.
Oh, we gotta
Because-
we gotta balance that equation.
no. But like, if it only forms in a combustion reaction, then what Elliot's saying is like the only way to form it. But if you could form it in a solution, then
well, it
could.
it makes sense that it would be from a combustion reaction, right?
I mean, yeah,
but like the byproduct of a combustion reaction is carbon dioxide and water,
which would make. I mean, but that also kind of makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it can affect it. I'm sure it can affect different rocks that were previously
Leo,
there.
you're forgetting the most fun part of big explosion heat.
Heat.
So
The thing that skins you alive.
Oh.
the
Question mark.
sorry, so what I'm seeing here is I can't find the exact chemical makeup,
Right.
Okay.
but because it's formed in like an area of like a desert, the chemical makeup is not going to be exact. It's not going to be exactly the same. So there are abundances of iron, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium,
Right.
More salty.
and a lot of oxygen. So I would assume that it's very similar to Moldavite, which is silicon dioxide, and aluminum oxide. So it's those two. So it's SiO2, Al2O3. So
okay.
I would assume it's very similar to that.
Oh.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing because we don't know how the
Right.
That's really
living
interesting.
glass was formed.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
So these are 3 minerals, or you got any more?
Yes, I do. Very
Okay.
quickly. It won't take long.
Unless we ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. So there was a meteor impact in Finland.
Mhm.
And the meteorite crashed, I believe it was 1995.
Okay.
Studies on it in 2010 found that there were 2 new types of carbon.
Huh.
One of them was a
Collect all your carbons.
rhombohedral structure diamond,
Ooh.
Oh.
believed to exist and be possible,
In space?
but it had never been found on Earth. It had been found
Space.
in this meteorite.
That's wild.
Yo. That's
I like
really cool.
that.
There was another one, which scientists were calling an intermediate between graphite and diamond. So it's some crystalline carbon formation.
So, like, I can have my designer pencil.
Yeah.
I mean,
Perrin just wants to take
hopefully-
all these resources and just use them for his daily life.
Look,
In-
Perrin,
when
we know
I
you have a thing for pencils. You carry them around everywhere, and you always have at least 5 in your
Be
pocket.
prepared, okay? So,
Now,
look,
when you carry pencils on your ear,
Yeah,
I
no,
carry
you can.
1 pencil with me.
remember,
He carries 5.
I used to have the double pencils on my ears.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
I
A
think
good
that
time.
what I want is
Yeah.
I want in 2080, when I've somehow miraculously become fabulously wealthy. I've got no idea how. I'll snap my fingers and it'll happen. I want to have my glass printer where I can be like, I'm feeling like I need some new glasses for this Chardonnay. And I'm gonna be like, let me print myself some Trinitite. Boop, a miniaturized nuclear explosion on some sand, and bam, there's my hunk of
No.
glass.
You like press a button and then 3 seconds later you hear like a giant explosion.
And you just see these minerals just being like brought through a tube into your
Yeah,
house.
they go into my little printer, and I pick up my glass, and I'm like, marvelous.
Oh, fine stuff.
So-
minutes.
Yeah.
All right,
God.
Perrin. This is what you're gonna be doing in the future.
Oh yeah, I want my bomb printer,
Oh shoot.
not something that prints bombs.
I feel like that's a really out of context phrase.
Yeah.
I want my bomb.
I want my bomb
I'm
printer.
pretty sure that's a great like quote.
Says
If you
Brisson.
had to sum a walk in the woods up in like one thing, it would be Perrin saying, "I want my bomb printer."
So, glass crystal.
Okay.
Okay.
It's probably the most common crystal that any of us will ever see.
Quartz.
It is not quartz.
Oh, okay.
Household thing.
I'm just
It's
gonna shrink
window
off this
glass.
one.
No.
Sorry.
So quartz is very common.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Everybody. I think everybody should have seen quartz in their life.
Mhm.
But
it's a crucial system of measurement.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
so we are officially kicking Perrin out of the.
I feel like we make this. We know we do.
The board
make
of
this joke,
trustees
like,
is
every
kicking Perrin
single-
out of
Yeah,
this.
I think you're talking about a quote to sum up this. That is what that quote is.
Hi everybody, my name is Leo Brisson. Welcome to a walk in the Brisson.
Brisson.
I'm here.
A walk in the bread.
A podcast that we will be releasing on a schedule.
Hey.
Hey, Leo, it's a walk in the bread.
A walk in the
All right.
bread.
Anyways,
Yes.
Elliot,
A walk to the bell.
just to finish this up
So,
with this last.
yeah.
Bong.
The crystal is, believe it or not, sugar.
What?
Now, sugar has a very, very
Which sugar?
amazing- Normal sugar.
Table
Sucrose
sugar.
or glucose or fructose? Okay.
Crystal sugar.
Crystal sugar.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's got a very interesting, amazing in slow motion, fantastic slow motion and in the dark
Mm-hmm.
property called Triboluminescence.
Oh, wait. So you're telling me that if I got some really sugary candy, I'm talking like Pixie Sticks, like it's literally
Oh,
just
all
sugar.
sugar.
Is that stuff gonna glow?
Now,
Oh.
okay, so kind of. If you take a lifesaver, like a
Mhm.
mint, you put it.
Oh, I've seen this.
You put it upright, front of a slow motion camera in
Yeah.
the dark. You take a hammer, you hit it.
Oh, remember
What's
Nalin,
gonna
we
happen?
did this before.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah. We because it glows. It like for a second when you hit it, like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a spark.
Oh, so it's like the energy being released?
I think so, something like that. But it's amazing.
So you're telling me we should make our armor out of sugar because then it absorbs the energy?
yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
really interesting. So,
So-
Elliot's showing us a picture here of when you hit a lifesavers. There's kind of like these blue lines that will go through it based on where the impact was. That
Well,
kind of
not where the impact
not
was, 'cause
where-
the
oh,
impact
sorry.
was right at the top.
where it's fracturing.
where it fractures.
Hmm.
So it will release light when the crystals are broken. And that's what the property is. It's
Cool.
That is
triboluminescence.
actually so cool.
And just like the Libyan desert glass, it can't be explained by
Huh.
science. We don't know how it works. And I urge everybody to look it up on YouTube. There are fantastic videos of it. It's a really, really, really cool property.
That's really cool.
I feel like this is just starting to become every other episode. We're like, yeah, people can't explain half these things.
I mean,
think-
that's like that's like we're learning that like so much stuff is just undiscovered. You know.
I feel like by the time that we've recorded like 100 of these, we're gonna be like, yeah, I brought up the topic of literally a desk drawer. We don't know why it opens.
Yeah, I don't
it
know
just
why
opens.
it opens. Yeah, it just kind of happens. But you know, scientists can't really explain it. They've been looking for thousands and thousands of years.
Yep.
yeah, so
Yes,
that was
yeah.
the
That was a really good topic. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed
I
that.
can't
Yeah, that
wait
was
to use
really
these
good.
glasses to make my fancy windows.
All right, all right.
Hey, Perrin, why don't
Perrin.
you use some glasses
All
to segue into what you have on your
To,
paper?
I can't segue from glasses to music. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sure you can. I'm sure.
Yeah,
you
you
can.
know the crystal
Speaking of
glasses.
how you can
Fingers.
move your fingers around the edges to make a
Ooh,
noise. What
Yeah.
makes music memorable?
All right, that was a little bit of a stretch, but I'm gonna give it to you, Perrin.
Yeah,
So
I agree with Leo on this one.
I came into this thinking like, okay, why do you got songs that suddenly, you ask people to sing a song or something, and there's some that they remember, and there's others that they can be really quality music, but people just don't remember them, even if it was like well made and such. I went out to ask like, yeah, why is that? So interestingly, there was this professor who basically said that a catchy song can be described like a communicable disease.
Oh,
Like,
huh?
oh
Pleasant.
Jesus.
it can be described in this way that like you basically catch it, and then you've got like this itch that you want to scratch of listening to
Oh
it.
my god, I feel like that's so true.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah.
perfect way of describing it. You know.
Yeah,
Like this guy Keith Duffy said that a catchy song makes the auditory part of the brain itch, and the only way to scratch that itch catch is listening to the song, which I think is a really interesting
I
way
love
to,
that.
like think about it.
I
and how
mean,
it works.
it's perfectly like sums it up. Like
Mhm.
if I have a song, like I have it in my head. I'm like, oh my god, that part is so. I
gotta hear it
I love
again.
hearing that song, and that's what happens. Also, this was what happens in band because
Yeah.
we play a song and it's like the melody is like, oh, it's
Yeah.
such a bop, and then we're like,
Bumping.
come on, can we please just play it again? And then we don't, and I'm really sad. Yeah.
Love
Love that.
So almost exactly like what you were saying with band, at least, you know, when you leave band for like a period afterward, you might hear
Yes.
people just like humming a tune.
No,
that we
yeah,
played.
I have lunch with people in band,
Mhm.
and,
And you-
we just do that. Like, there's
Yeah.
people
Well-
who like are in orchestra, and we're just like singing that to each other. It's so funny.
We get a lot of weird looks, I will say.
yes.
So when a familiar part of a song was played to some subjects with like segments removed, like you got the song playing and then it's just blank, the subjects heard the removed part of the song in their heads. Like
Huh.
it kind of played in their heads for that. And I feel like that happens a lot in some sort of thing like band. And I think we can keep coming back to that further on because a lot of these reasons that songs are catchy really apply to that. So, oh yeah, and especially when songs had lyrics or visual memories attached, like those would really help implant a song in
Yeah.
people's heads. So, as is our general theme of this, there's no definite blueprint for making a catchy song. It's not. You can't just be like, oh, okay, let me plug in this formula. There are some things that you can do to make it more catchy, but like there's nothing that's going to guarantee a certain reaction. It's like how certain kinds of musical combinations will plug readily into our memory, and we can't really figure them out what they are. But an example that this same professor uses is, he says, they're like molecules coming together in a chemical reaction.
Like the formation of
I
Trinitite.
love this
Yeah.
professor
It-
so much.
It's not like an actual molecule being formed in your brain or something, though I assume that there's something chemical about it. But that's kind of how it just kind of locks into place. So, of the things that are going to make music memorable, familiarity is going to be a largish role, like similar to music that you already know. Like unfamiliar music doesn't really connect well, and it's harder to own, especially on first listen. That's the professor's quote there. So basically, if you've got a certain genre of music and you're listening to an artist who produces like if you're listening to two artists and they've produced a similar sound quality, you might be more inclined to listen to this other artist
okay.
because they have a similar sort of song, speaking of chord progression, rhythm, instrumentation, that has this familiarity to you. But if you go from listening to like, you know, Tchaikovsky classical music, I don't think it's actually classical technically, is it? Isn't there a certain era for classical?
Yeah, there is. It's
Oh gosh.
I know it doesn't really matter, but if you go in this scenario,
Sweet.
if you go from listening to like Tchaikovsky to try and listen to hardcore like
Sicko
heavy
mode.
metal,
Yeah.
Um,
no.
you're gonna be it's gonna be harder for you to enjoy that because it's very unfamiliar.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Short, predictable chord progressions actually can be really useful in making a song sound familiar. I made a note to myself when I read that, like a lot of modern pop and many sort of, as you guys like to have me call them, corporate country songs use this. Like you can tell, I think that you can transition some like pop or these country songs into one another very readily because they're written in similar keys with similar chord progressions, and they can sound quite similar.
Also, the vast majority of pop music is only written in a standard 4-chord progression, where it's only 4 chords. This is actually a real thing. I'm not just.
I know,
making this
but
up.
you know, here's the thing. So is basically all music.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
when
yeah.
when it comes to older country music, you know, there are just the same, you know, there are the same progressions, but there are also just the same qualities of music. You're always gonna hear like I don't know what to call it, but like you know it when you hear it. Like the older country, meaning like the more like George Jones, like Buck Owens, like older style, and it just kind of the way the song starts up, you know, like it kind of gets into like you know, it's like you go into it, and that's like what you hear all the time with that. And like it also is the same thing with a lot of you know, classical music, pop music, and even rap music, you know, the way that like it could be lyrics also, but the way that like the flow happens, like a lot of times it's similar.
That's,
you know?
more I would argue that that's more on the rhythmic side, and I
Oh,
think
yeah,
you
I
also
see what
could
you mean.
have rhythm like that. I think that also applies to rhythm, but I'm gonna say there's a reason for that. There's a reason that there are these simple chord progressions. It's because it's familiar. It sounds better to us. Like it's more catchy if you've got this familiar chord progression.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
That's why to go a little bit into music theory, like C, F, G, C is so good sounding to us, is just because it's used a lot.
Well, but you're also you're playing the first, the fourth, the fifth,
right,
and then back to the
Yeah.
first
well,
again.
it sounds good because we're familiar with it.
Yeah, like I feel like this is all learned. Like
Mhm.
you know, when like you play something,
Wait,
like
doesn't that make it minor?
No.
So,
not
like-
I'm just hearing a minor in my head.
I feel like when you play somebody, like anybody, like when you play somebody like a series of like three chords, they're going to be like duh for the last one. Like they're going to be able to be like
they know
which
like
one
know the
comes
end
next.
of the chord progression.
And
yeah.
I'm not sure like how that shit, like, does it have to do with different people and their listening habits? Like, does it change like as time goes on because styles of music change?
Well, actually, thank you, Leo, for that
You're
segue.
very welcome.
that segues right into the
Mind
another
reading.
part that makes music catchy and memorable and enjoyable to us is cultural connections. Like, for example, listeners
What
of
was
like a
that?
certain generation of music might really enjoy it a bunch. So you're gonna have, you know, if you have people who are like who are elderly now, they're going to get much less enjoyment out of like modern mumble rap than someone of like Gen Z who's more likely to be listening to it. It's more of a cultural thing for us than for them,
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
though I particularly don't enjoy it, but I think that even I would get more enjoyment out of it than like someone who's many years older than me, and that's just because it's generational and cultural. And
yeah, that makes sense.
you can see this on a bigger level. You've got a lot of in non-Western music. You've got a lot of like the more traditional styles of it, especially in India and East Asia. You've
Mhm.
got different scales. You've got more notes in there, and that makes a different cultural familiarity. And I would assume that it would go down to like that chord progression thing. That might not be as prevalent there. They might have their own chord progression that sounds good, like that's culturally ingrained.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that would make sense.
here's I think coming to the point that you guys I think will enjoy is that repetition is one of the other key things in making a song catchy.
yeah.
I mean, guys, everything has a formula.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
but I mean, there's like the whole intro chorus, phrase
Yeah,
chorus.
I mean,
Oh, I think that would fit more familiarity.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you're going by repetitious standpoint,
Repeating
you're
a chorus.
you're going to remember a repeated chorus way more than an
Verse.
actual verse.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, that kind of plays right into my first point here is that a hook can often make you
Oh.
memorize a song.
Yeah.
And even if it's a short phrase, like it's a 5-note thing, you can like that can get ingrained in your head. Like, for example, if there was a certain part of let's see, like Africa by Toto, There's that one part that's like da 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 da.
Two
like
of us
that,
are just like cringing, and then Elliot is just jamming.
Well, I mean
I love that song.
that little hook is played a lot, and
Yeah.
that might be much more memorable than any of the words in the verses. And also like the chorus, that same like 2-note like da 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 da. That is sung a bunch,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're gonna more easily remember that than maybe like the rhythm and lyrics during the verses.
Right.
So there's also, I think this might be a contentious point here, the repeated playing of a song can also force it to be catchy. Like a radio playing a song 25 times a day. And this can mean that even terrible songs will stick. Like that'll get them to stick.
Oh
in your
my
mind
god.
and
But
be
actually-
memorable.
earworms. Oh my
And,
gosh.
and they might even be catchy if you don't like them.
Yes.
There's actually a very interesting thing that is in fact used by the music production industry, specifically having to do with repeatedly playing a song.
Yeah.
Because the more somebody listens to it, the more they
you
get
like it.
used to it,
Yeah.
and it increases,
Familiarity.
which then leads to them eventually liking it. Like,
Mhm.
my dad, it just, this is very brief. Like, my dad has a sister, and she said to him when they were teenagers or something, oh, I just haven't heard this song enough to really like it.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
I see that. Like I feel that. Like sometimes like the first time listening to a song, it's kind of like, oh, like oh yeah, this is kind of interesting. I'm probably not gonna listen to it again. And then later, I feel like yo, remember that hook? That's I like
But-
that. And then I go back and I'm like, ooh, let's listen to it again.
Yeah.
Like I'm one person that like I can listen to a song like 10 times in a row and then be fine with it. But the thing is, the next day, it's like not as good. You know, like it's not like that fresh. Like, whoa, this is so cool.
I myself have something similar.
Yeah.
Don't worry, this is quick pick.
Yeah.
My friend introduced me to 88 Rising through Midsummer Madness, like a posse song. I listened to it like 3 times at his house, and I was like, okay, cool, this is pretty good,
Yeah.
but it's not
yeah.
something I'm going to listen to much.
Mhm.
Months later, I'm at school. I'm like, okay, I want to listen to some music. It's lunch, whatever. I'm just like looking at music. I see that, and I was like, oh, that's a good song. I guess I'll listen to it.
Mhm.
Now I'm a hardcore 88 Rising fan. It's like,
It kind of leads you in. I feel like
yeah.
it's so weird because I want to know like which part of the brain like knows
Yeah.
knows this because like I have my memory is not great. Like how can I remember the hook of a song that I listened to months ago like a couple times and I can't remember like vocab for my English quiz. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about?
I
Yeah.
have a hypothesis. Like, this is not necessarily anything I've researched, but I think that it has to do something with like the reward center of your brain, as well as just like your auditory response. A combination of those. Like, I think that in nature, it's useful for humans to recognize a sound. Like, if you recognize a sound, your brain's gonna reward it because that sound might mean danger. It might mean food. It might mean many things. And if you recognize a sound and you know what happens because of it, I think that sets off a reward circuit in your brain. So I think that that doesn't happen with English vocab, and that's why it might be hard to remember.
Here's one thing that's kind of related to this. Is quick. In 6th grade, I had the greatest science teacher. Oh, she was so good. So we learned a lot of stuff, but the thing is, she said, you're not going to usually remember this. So what she did was she found songs on YouTube that were made by like teachers, right? And then she had us memorize it, and I thought, like, at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and I still remember these songs. Like, I people like in my grade, like people around me, like they'll know what I'm talking about. And it's so great because it's like I wouldn't have succeeded in like doing quizzes or tests if I didn't get the song because I, also even for smaller things like for like French verbs, right? I learned a song that can help you memorize like a certain group of like specific like words and like verbs. And now, like, I don't even need to write them down. I don't need to remember them. I just have the song in my head, and then I write out the little things, like, on the paper, on my test, right? So, like, songs can just let you, like, remember anything. It's weird.
Yeah. And that's why I'm introducing my new all-music education program.
Yes.
Where you will be singing for 8 hours a day.
Your throat will become numb.
You will
not have a throat.
So, in a finishing part, there's
I'm like singing this song with Elliot right now. Oh my gosh.
there's also an enjoyable performance of a song. That's coming back to that visual memory can really ingrain it in your head because you've got those other stuff that's making you feel good at the time that you're listening to the song, and that song calls back to that memory, and then you're like,
I see.
"Yo, that was good. I like that song.
That's
that
how
was good."
That's how I got into a lot of music. I remember seeing a music video, and it was like wild, and I was like, "This is weird. Like I've never seen anything like this. This is like, I don't know what this is." And then a month later, I remember the music video, and I remember that song. I was like, "That song was really weird, but I kind of want to listen to it."
Yeah,
And I feel like that, you know, that was me. Yeah, that was Tyler Creator, by the way. Oh, yeah. So, you know, I think you know, when you also see concerts, there's a bit of like, you kind of remember that.
Yeah.
And also like nostalgia. Like I have nostalgia for a lot of music.
I'm pretty sure that concerts are slightly different because it's more of an experience than just sitting down and listening to
Oh,
music.
yeah. I agree.
I mean, I think that's actually a perfect example in that case.
Yeah,
Because
I'm just
you
saying it's
have
slightly
even
different.
more of a memory connected
Yeah.
to it. Like if you hear a song, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I remember that. That was awesome."
Yeah.
I wonder if that happens with bad memories too. Like if you have a bad memory related to a song, if that makes you like dislike
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah,
That'd be
yes,
really interesting.
yes.
I'm pretty sure.
I
does.
I
Yeah.
do because like
can say it does, yeah.
I remember like I don't know, like I can remember specific memories that are associated with different like songs. You know,
Right.
like there was one like I remember listening to one song after I was watching a scary movie as a child and I was really creeped out by it, and so I decided to leave the room and I decided to just listen to music because that's what I like to do.
And now,
And now literally like it's becoming more distant as it goes on.
Yeah.
But like when I hear that song, I was like, I remember that, and it's so wild.
That's really interesting.
I just have music that I listen to that just makes me sad because
Oh.
of certain memories
Joy
associated with it. Not necessarily Joy Division, actually.
Yeah.
It's actually more. It's actually a couple of different albums. Like there's this couple of songs on Joy Division that on their 2 albums that do that.
Just give you the big sad.
Give them the big
the
sad.
big sad.
But
Just
but it's actually it's songs that I would
largest
actually
sad.
consider pretty happy songs. It's weird.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah,
But it's just like other variables that. do that.
yeah.
So speaking of fuzzy memories, talk to us about a bear.
Oh my god, Perrin, I
Damn
know
it.
you were practicing that. All right, guys.
Okay.
We were trying to mentally figure it
I
out.
had that prepared for like
Okay,
3
guys,
minutes.
we are
Oh.
taking Perrin off the podcast, and today we're gonna talk about a bear.
Yay!
Cool.
Yay.
It's Poland.
Of course, it's Poland.
Well, it's actually
it's always Eastern Europe.
So there's a group of Polish there's a group of Polish prisoners of war, and it's 1942 during during World War II,
Right.
and they're returning from a Siberian gulag and they're headed to become free in Egypt. Later, these troops are going to go and fight with the Allies, you know, like the U.S. against the Axis powers,
Right.
you know. So this is the spring of 1942, and when the soldiers are making their way back, they discover a bear cub in the Iranian wilderness.
Don't
in the
go pick it up.
mountains.
That's bad. The mother gonna come.
I don't know why they just decided to
The Mongol
to
come
do
for
this,
you.
but I guess they wanted a morale boost, and it worked. They
Really?
nurtured the bear like a cub,
Huh.
fed it milk. This is from a Time article. But essentially, what they did is they fed it milk out
Huh.
of a vodka bottle.
Sip of
And they
white milk
named
out
the
of
bear
vodka
so
bottles.
like okay the name is Wojetk, and I'm pretty sure it's like Wojetk because like
Yeah.
J is
Right.
is pronounced like with an like an I in this situation. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm pretty sure like I've heard some of that pronunciation before.
Right.
But essentially, they just kind of nurtured this bear as a cub.
And they didn't find the mother?
I don't think so.
Is this kind of a reverse Romulus and Remus?
Kind of.
Hmm.
I mean,
I'm thinking this story ends with the mother bear became an
Yes.
international assassin and tracked these
What
guys
the-
halfway across the world
okay.
to kill them and get its cub back.
this is getting dark. Okay.
All right.
So the bear would. So they literally these troops kind of taught the bear these
Yeah.
very human like traits.
Kind of domesticated it lately.
They do. They did. So
Yeah.
this is what the bear. This is from the Time article. This is what the troops remember the bear doing.
Mhm.
The bear would get out like to really hilarious like human like activities.
Right.
The bear was actually able to light a cigarette, and then the bear was able to smoke the cigarette and then
Oh.
eat it. Also, the bear could. I was like, what? It looks. I'm just the mental picture of a bear just going. Just eating the whole cigarette. That makes me so.
I like the image. It's noir bear. It's 1932 Great Depression.
42.
40.
No, I'm thinking
Oh.
32.
Oh, I
Great
see what you mean.
Depression.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, New York City. It's black and white.
The bear's
wearing
sitting at a
trench coat,
desk.
sitting at a desk, takes out a cigarette, smokes it, takes a big old bite out of it.
Chomp.
So also the bear.
I was gonna make a connection. I was gonna say this is like Coco the gorilla learning sign language, but then you said that cigarette thing. I'm like, nope.
So Wojetk would actually drink from beer bottles. And then so it's really funny.
A drunk bear. Okay.
Yeah. So the bear just kind of also the bear carried empty ammo crates.
Next thing you're gonna say is that the bear became a soldier and fought in the war.
Well, kind of.
Oh my god.
I mean, okay, so he helped like a lot of this. So Wojetk actually helped by like carrying these ammo crates like back and forth, even though there might have not actually been a lot in them.
Yeah.
But the bear also kind of hung out with everybody during practice, like in grenade practices when they used to throw oranges as grenades.
Make
Like
sure he doesn't learn to go fetch.
he ran after the oranges because he was
Oh,
so
no.
thirsty in the Egyptian heat. Plus, Moitek would go into the shower rooms and try to and waste all the water supply. And eventually this happened. The bear became a symbol for the group,
Aw, that's-
and it became worshipped. People love it, even it's on the symbol. It was
Yeah.
on the symbol of the bear holding the ammo crates.
Is there like a specific a troop or legion or something in the Polish
Yes.
army?
So it's like
That has
the
it?
second like
Second
artillery,
second.
like support. I don't
Yeah.
know, like some like
Some kind of obscure
Yeah.
group, but it's still.
But
Yeah.
it's a symbolic
Yeah.
group.
Yeah,
It's-
and so soon
Bear.
people were arguing about where the bear should go because everybody's moving all over the place. Where should the bear go? So the troops actually didn't want it to go back to Poland
Yeah.
because
Makes
they
sense.
feared that the bear would become a communist symbol, which is
Yeah.
what these troops. This is not what these troops are fighting
Right.
for, right?
Yeah.
So they were fighting against that, and so
I mean, they
but-
kind of were fighting.
no.
So
So these
weren't they on allies?
So it's pretty complicated, and I don't
Right.
really fully understand it because I'm not.
Well, in 1942, Poland is still annexed.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. I think Poland was possibly like transitioning, or people wanted like communist. I'm not sure if it was
Right.
in the.
I mean, they are right next to Russia. So
Are
I'm
they
not-
in the? Were they in the USSR?
No.
No.
USSR did not have Poland at that.
No.
Yeah.
Poland
so,
was independent.
so they were. All I know is that they were.
Well, no, Poland was controlled.
They were in
by
a.
Germany at 1942.
Oh no! I meant
Poland
before,
is-
I meant before the war.
Oh, before the war. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Poland
yeah.
was independent before the war.
So they were being transported from a gulag,
Right.
like a prisoner of war
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah.
In Siberia, really cold, and they were
Mhm.
coming down.
Right.
The Allies were bringing them, and then the Allies sent them to fight in a battle in Italy. So essentially, the bear actually was Wojetk was put in a zoo, or not a zoo. A farm. In Scotland.
And he
There's some
helped the
kind of
farmers.
story related to why this specific place,
Mhm.
but and the bear kind of died in 1963,
Oh goodness,
Wow.
he lived a while. Good for
probably
him.
due to eating cigarettes. Legitimate. But Wojetk is still loved and adored. There are statues, just honored. I think it's the sweetest story, but
Yeah.
also
I think it's kind of a sad story too, in a weird way.
Because
it
they
kind
had
of
to
is.
Let him go.
is it?
I
is
mean,
it-
not only
It's a
that,
feel
but
this
like
is
good,
this is
sad
the, this is
story.
the discussion part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should get too like opinionated about this, but
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about this bear being taken as a cub and being, nurtured by a group of soldiers? Because it's
Yeah,
obviously
I mean-
out of the normal.
so I
Yes,
think it would make an
um,
absolutely amazing film.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
I
and
would-
also there's a book about it.
Yeah.
Just
Just do a book just do a book to film
Hear me-
adaptation. or
Hear me
something.
out. It's an animated, like old school Disney sort of animated. Hmm? No.
No, that would be that. I like that.
I don't know. I don't see it like that. I feel like that would make it too dramatic.
Hmm.
Like I don't feel like this. I feel like this should be more of. Oh wow. I feel like this should be more of like a live action or a. No, I feel like this should be like a live action film because
With
that would
CG
make it.
bear?
Oh yeah, how do you recreate the bear?
You could, probably could use
Hey,
a
you
real
know
bear.
what? If they can do lions, tigers, and other things, then they can definitely do lions, tigers, and bears.
You know,
But,
you talked about the bear going to the shower. I now have this.
oh God, I've got this horrible image in my head.
I have this horrible image. You're just sitting there taking a shower, and a bear walks in on you, and you're like,
No, but no.
No.
Okay, so the troops taught the bear how to scare other troops that they were with. Here's a picture of the bear carrying. This is a symbol.
yeah,
It's kind of
not
a- it's a
bear
cart-
with a cylinder over
Yeah.
top.
No, I want to say,
This was a
if-
black bear, right?
It's a very specific type, but I believe it is a black bear.
Okay.
It's like Iranian or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's this very specific type.
Cool.
I'm not sure what it is.
so, if the bear was clearly abandoned, like there was,
Yeah.
like it was clearly the mother wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was like gonna die.
Yeah,
I feel like bringing it in was okay.
Yeah.
But if they just found a bear cub that was all healthy and fine and dandy, and the mother was maybe nearby,
right.
probably shouldn't have taken it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that constitutes for literally any wild animal. That
Oh
it's not a good idea to humanize, as in like domesticate in any form a wild animal, unless maybe for science. Even then,
I mean, but
and what I mean by that is
Yeah.
like those experiments that Russian guy did where he domesticated
Oh,
foxes.
yeah.
Like that.
those
think
are
is-
really cool.
Yeah. No, I think that was interesting.
Yeah.
and worth-
But I will say, like, do we know what the circumstances were when they actually found the bear? Like, did it come up to them? Or
I'm not
something, or-
sure. All
Okay.
I heard was that they just kind of found it as a cub.
Yeah.
I'm not. I might have been separated from the mother, but I am.
Yeah.
I imagine.
mean,
that
if, like-
if they looked around a little and they can't find the mother, I would assume that that's kind of what happened. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't just take in a bear cub when you see one laying around.
Yeah.
You look around to see if there's a mother because it might be dangerous to
Yeah.
be near the bear cub.
But like
The orphan
there's also
cub. It was an orphan.
then that's it. I mean, did they like
See
did the
if
mother
there's a
attack
mother.
or something? They killed the
um,
mother and then
Or maybe the mother was dead already from some sort of.
yeah.
Well,
Lions, tigers, and bears don't lie.
Speaking of lions, tigers, and bears, tell us about tables and tables of chemistry.
That was
was
awful.
a big old stretch. I'm so
Awful.
sorry.
I hate it.
Okay, all right. Well, so here's a pretty cool thing, and then I want you guys to take a little quiz.
Yay,
Okay.
quiz time. Quiz.
So, in this March of 2019, the periodic table of elements turns 150 years old.
He's
Yeah.
old. Or she.
So,
Okay.
2019 has actually been named the International Year of the Periodic Table.
Oh, has it now?
Yes, it has. Okay, so I want you guys to take this quiz.
Oh,
Okay.
we're going right off the bat.
Yeah,
okay.
we're going right off the bat, and
Okay.
then I'll give you some just kind of general background.
Perrin from the future here. If you'd like to take this quiz yourself, a link to it has been provided in the episode description.
So, first question here is whether there's an element on the periodic table named after a Norse god of thunder, and we're all answering that. We won't say our answers yet.
Yeah.
Second question is, only one scientist today gives his name to an element on the periodic table. True or false? The third question is, of all the current elements, 2 are named after real women. True or false?
The last time chemical elements were added to the periodic table was 25 years ago. True or false?
The fifth question is, the heavy metal frontman, Lemmy, has an element named after him. True or false? And the final question is, one village near the Scandinavian city has 4 elements named
Whoa.
after it. True or false? Alrighty. Well, Nalin, I got 5 out of 6 right.
I got
All
4
right.
out of 6 right.
Hey, that's what I got the first
4
time I
out of
took it.
6.
All right.
Wow.
Wait, so which 2 did you guys miss?
I missed the one about the singer.
Yeah.
That
I got the singer.
that was
Oh.
incorrect.
I didn't get the
Yeah.
singer.
So the singer was false.
Also, what else did I get?
The
wrong?
village one, the 25 years.
Oh,
I got the 25 years.
yeah.
and the
No, I got the
science
25 years
human.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because I know
25.
there's new ones being added.
So the new
Yeah.
ones that were added in December of 2015.
Oh, wow.
And there were elements 113 through 116 or 18. It's something like that.
I think it's 18, right?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Isn't the bottom row technically filled out, but some of those elements haven't been ratified?
well,
we'll
they
say?
haven't been they hadn't been named, like they were the unups.
Yeah, and didn't they name up to like 118, and now we have 19 and 20?
I'm not sure. Maybe. But which ones what was the other one you missed, Elliot?
I missed the 25 years
Yeah.
and the current day scientist
Oh, yeah.
one, but
There's
I just
one.
went through another 6 out of 6.
Yep.
There's one scientist, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Um,
I will get
It's-
that.
and by the way, yes, thorium is indeed named after Thor.
Yeah.
So-
I got that village one right literally only because my science teacher had a test question based around it.
Really?
I
Yeah.
just know that thorium exists, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a really specific
Yeah.
thing, right?
Anyways.
So
Oh, sorry.
I have the person, the Russian-Armenian scientist Yuri T. Oganessian
Oh yeah.
has been dubbed Mr. Element 118. He gives his name to oganesson, a synthetic radioactive chemical
So
with symbol
basically,
OG. He's the OG.
Is the OG.
I'm gonna guess that 2050 AP Chem students are gonna be like, "Oh my god, I don't want to pronounce that thing when I'm trying to memorize the periodic table."
They already are, just with different elements.
Yeah.
Wait,
So-
do you guys have to, or do you
Memorize
get a
it? No.
Table?
We get the table.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We also get a list of equations, but it's not super helpful
Do
because
you-
it misses.
Oh
some.
yeah.
Anyways, now what's the meat of what you're trying to talk about today?
Okay, so I just wanted to kind of discuss this.
Yeah.
So here's some general background on the periodic table. So does anyone know who well, at least
Mendeleev.
yes. So he wasn't the
Yes.
first one to create a periodic table.
There's like a race for it, right?
Yeah, you could call it a race.
I think
but-
we did notes about this one sometime.
Yeah, but Mendeleev created the early periodic table
Early audit.
in 1869. And at that point, they only knew of 63 elements. And he put them in a table based around only their atomic mass, which was kind of the only thing that they really knew at this point.
Right.
So as I said, he wasn't the first to do this. However, he was quite smart, in fact, in leaving gaps in between elements for the ones that they didn't know at the time.
Did he like predict?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
predicted elements. He predicted, I think, their atomic mass and eventually their atomic structure. So he had a leap of ingenuity, as the article said. Because the table was only organized by atomic mass, they didn't really... the table wasn't super accurate at the time. And then eventually scientists discovered photons.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how our table is based nowadays, because the atomic number of an element is the same as the number of protons in the nucleus.
Right.
And that's how we organize our modern table. I'm going to slightly paraphrase here. We now know how it works and the why it works. And this has to do with the quantum mechanics and the arrangement of the electrons in the atoms. And that's kind of what we base it off of.
I wonder, like, if as time goes on, like we always, like the periodic table is, it used to be something completely different, and it was changed. I wonder what it's gonna look like in like 100 years, because
Right, like if something else is
Yeah.
going to be discovered.
well, like I feel like more elements I feel like are gonna be discovered, but also like I wonder what the table is gonna look like. I wonder if we're gonna like figure out like new things, like new properties that we can put on. 'Cause, science just keeps going.
I always feel like there's going to be a point where it's just going to be like, oh yeah, we got that completely wrong because we
Yeah.
didn't fully understand it because everything's so complicated.
Yeah.
Like,
We never understood everything.
well, it's like heliocentrism versus geocentrism.
Right.
Like, there were some early theories about it, but like it wasn't really fully adopted by many people. That was somewhat,
The heliocentric model.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
was somewhat a cultural thing, but I think that it was also like a scientific thing. Like the
Yeah.
earlier stuff was
I mean, like
pretty. I'm
it
pretty
was-
sure it was mostly.
it was
theories, not, like,
Galileo
math,
who really
Like,
like
did the
used evidence to
and proved it. Yeah.
yeah, but
I
Copernicus
thought it was Copernicus. That,
Copernicus
he-
introduced it, but Galileo supported it and then
Yeah.
showed how it was
Yeah.
how it was true.
It's like, I imagine, how Elon Musk keeps saying, yeah, we might be in a computer simulation. There's going to be someone who proves it or disproves
disproves
it.
it,
Like,
yeah.
and I think that's going to be so cool, is like, in the future, I'm always thinking, how is what we know now going to be looked back on in history?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we currently, we think so much about now. We say that we're
Yeah.
living in a time of like
Technology.
the informational era. I
Right.
think that name will still stand. It was
Right.
we have had a significant like increase in the information available and just how fast things are developing technology wise in our world from like the 1970s on to now with
Oh,
like
yeah.
internet and computers and things. They've just
Yeah.
quickened everything. Everything has increased in pace. And I'm always curious, is that going to stand? Are we
Yeah.
going to look back and be like, oh yeah, that was just, it did get faster. And that's an
Yeah.
important thing about this era.
Well,
But
I feel
it's
like
nothing compared to
I
now.
can,
Yeah.
I can like see like the textbook page,
Mhm.
like when you do the textbook reading and it's like the age of exploration
Yeah.
or whatever, and it has a little and it has all the text and the pictures. Like I could just like imagine the age of technology and then like a picture of like somebody on like a computer,
Mhm.
and it'll be like how technology shaped like politics, like economics,
Right.
Yeah.
and then like the kid has to do support your claim with 3 pieces of
Yep.
evidence.
of course they're gonna be doing this in virtual reality. They're lying on their bed with a brain chip in, of course.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's like all these tubes,
Yep.
and they're like,
lying in their stasis
Yeah.
pod.
"Mother, could you get me a virtual glass of water?"
It's gonna turn into Ready Player One.
Mother, can you materialize
SAO.
the hand rest?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I like how we're talking about this because I feel like in 20 years, like, if we could save this like audio,
Time capsule.
it
Sort
would
of
be
thing.
Oh my
so
gosh.
funny just to see like like these kids, like we used to be kids, we used to be talking about this, and I feel
Mhm.
like
20 years from now, technology is gonna change so much.
you can
It's-
even you know what's cool is a little bit of a sidetrack,
Mhm.
but you could also write a letter to yourself and then address it to yourself like 1 or 2 years later.
Or we invent time travel. Go back and be like, "Yo,
yeah.
sup, dude?"
Well, that's just easy, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you, of course, have to kill them and that timeline so that it
Well,
doesn't break.
that gets really complicated, and that's a whole different.
Paradox.
I'm
What if-
making
what
a
if
joke.
one of us is a time traveler and we don't know?
Elliot,
Like,
is this a
imagine-
confession?
No. Okay, so
Hey
imagine.
guys, I have something to tell you.
Imagine if one of us was from the future and we were sent back as a child and our memory was wiped and we're being tricked into thinking that we were born now.
No.
Wait, oh my god, guys, I've got it.
Yes.
I am Leo, the time traveler. I come from a time of, I don't know.
Travelation.
Yes, traveler.
So, Nalin, do you have anything more particularly to add, or should we have some closing remarks?
I mean, I pretty much kept this very light,
Yeah.
simple, just a little bit of a
I like doing
background.
the quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like talking about existentialism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to wrap things up, today we had a good discussion about some cool crystal rock things. We talked about music, some bears, chemistry, and how we cannot predict the future, and it'll be real weird. Anyways, this has been A Walk in the Woods with Perrin, Leo, Elliot, and Nalin. Thank you for listening.